So, VTuber drama. Yep, we're back in that ballpark. And of course, it stems from Twitter. Are you really surprised? So, ages ago, I talked about the drama with male VTubers about a year ago, where the VTuber community was attacking a lot of male VTubers, mostly for just existing. But did people learn their lesson? Of course not! We are back once again to the VTuber community hating on males. This time it actually started because of a very serious topic, which is SA. Some very brave women were coming forward and talking about their own personal stories on certain male VTubers who have done some very not okay things. Of course, I applaud that. What I don't applaud is the tons of people generalizing and acting like the entirety of the male VTuber community is like that, as well as some people just jumping in to be hateful just because. Just look at all of this. From people just leaving really stupid generalized statements around Twitter, to actual harassment DMs, and hell, even one male VTuber made a male VTuber support group. It wasn't to retaliate against the women who were coming forward with their stories, it was because it was Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and yet he still got a lot of hate for making that group. He even had to make a tweet asking people to just please stop. Know about you, but nothing about this seems very poggers. I actually got a little heated on Twitter because Twitter seems to just get to my head and turn me into a complete Twitter weirdo. I really got stuff going on there, man. But yeah, I called out this person because I actually saw somebody else had made a call out about them. I went to go read their post. I was like, what could they have possibly done that was so bad that deserved a call out? And then I saw it. Yeah, they did the same thing as everyone else, generalizing, saying it's okay to generalize, and then compared men to parasitic ticks. I'm sure most of you can be rational enough to understand why that's really weird and bad to do. And I thought that most people would understand. I said it. I said generalizations like this are very harmful, not just to men, but to anyone. How do I explain this? We can't just apply this logic to one generalization, because if one generalization is okay, then more generalizations become okay, which is the problem for me. People who generalize and stereotype about one specific sex seems to also stereotype and generalize about the opposite sex, which is also why I had a problem with being so feminine before, because I felt like a lot of people just kind of saw me as like a weaker, more sensitive, more emotional person. Yeah, that shit obviously hurts. What also hurts is generalizing and grouping people in with actual criminals, grouping innocent people in with people who assault, especially when some of those innocent people have been victims of assault. I would not want to be compared to somebody who has hurt me, you know what I mean? But yes, after I made my post saying that these generalizations really harm people, a VTuber that I really liked and I looked up to unfortunately commented and just said I was wrong and would not listen to anything I said. Now, I'm not here saying like he had to agree with me or something like that, because of course not. You don't have to agree with all of my points, you know? The thing is, he was just very condescending and didn't seem to want to hear my side of this at all, just completely disagreed and didn't want to see like how I might be seeing this. He kept bringing the conversation back around to like systematic abuse and shit like that, which is not at all what I was talking about. Like, my whole point was about generalization, how it's just hurtful and it doesn't really help anyone. He then said something about like, oh, just let people vent, and it's like, bitch, I have run a mental health group for several years. It has never turned up well when people vented by essentially being a giant dick to one specific group, okay? I at some point had to literally fight people because this hashtag that was trending a while back on Twitter called CAM, it's short for Kill All Men. People were starting to say it in this mental health group, and I was like, guys, maybe don't say that in a place where there's like actually suicidal people, you know? And they were like, well, that's just how I cope. It's like, you know, believe it or not, some copes just aren't good. I could cope by punching someone in the face. That doesn't mean I should do it. Just because you are traumatized doesn't mean you get to traumatize others. It's not a free pass to be shitty. And I sat here in shock just at what I was hearing, that, oh, if you're traumatized and you need to vent, you can just pretty much say whatever the fuck you want, which is like, no, No, you can't. Like, we really do have to be fair here. There were sometimes people who came into the community who said shit like, I had a bad time with trans people, let's say, for example. Actually, I think there really was somebody who was like that there at some point. They were like, I've never had good experiences with trans people, so I hate all trans people. And I was just like, okay, you need to go. Either you take your posts down, or I'm gonna have to ban your ass. Unfortunately, it did just come down to banning. Some people never learn. Anyways, I digress. No one, and I mean no one, should be treated like shit for something they cannot help. Somebody was born a man, or maybe they're transitioning. Whatever the case, that doesn't mean that you just get a free pass to be shitty to them because you've had bad experiences with men. I've had bad experiences with women in my life. Listen, I'm a little bit of a Rizzler, okay? And occasionally I got a girl who really liked me and would not leave me the fuck alone, and it was scary, and I feared for my life. But just because I had, like, a couple girls threatening to, like, off themselves if I didn't date them and shit like that, that doesn't mean that I'm going to just treat women like shit. That would be weird. You know, sure, I had that initial fear, and I did talk about this before on stream because it is scary. When you've had a bad experience with a certain group, you become kind of wary of that group. That's kind of a natural response. I genuinely thought, like, I can't even be friends with girls because I thought, like, either they're just gonna hate me for some fucking weird reason, or if they ended up liking me, they're just gonna go nuts if I turn them down, and I did not want that. Because that's the only thing I've experienced. But still, I'm aware enough to know that, like, that's not everyone, and that I should give people, like, a chance. Sure, I can be wary. Sure, I can be a little bit skeptical or even scared of putting myself into that situation because it's out of my comfort zone, maybe. But that doesn't mean I have to treat people like they're criminals or like they're, you know, out to get me or something. Well, I still don't agree with that VTuber who shall go unnamed, because I don't want to send hatred his way. It still does disappoint me that he couldn't just be like, hey, I still don't agree with your point of view, but, like, I see where you might be coming from. It was just like shutting me down constantly shutting everyone down in the conversation, which was just like really unpleasant, honestly. I feel so sad because I genuinely liked this VTuber and now I have him blocked. Yeah, just if you're ever in a discussion or a conversation with somebody who's, you know, discussing their point of view with you, maybe don't do that. You can say your point of view while also acknowledging the other person's point of view. Wow, isn't that amazing? Who knew? This is how conversation works, guys. Like, no one has to be rude, no one has to put anyone else's opinion down or bully them for having an opinion. Like, you can actually also change people's minds by just telling them your opinion in a nice manner. Because trust me, the second you're mean, you lose the battle. Nobody fucking wants to listen to you when you're being a jackass. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt really bad to have somebody be like, almost felt like invalidating, let's put it that way, to even say your own experiences and how generalizations hurt, and for them to just be like, this shouldn't hurt anyone. Like, my guy, I just told you. I just fucking told you. Anyways, before I end this video, I'm gonna read out some of the insane tweets I saw, including some things from that thread, because honestly, I, to this day, to this moment, have no idea what the hell he said to me. Like, I even at some point was like, listen, I'm living in Europe now. I've been in Europe for a while, and I've forgotten a lot of English. I don't know what these big fancy words you're using are. And he just kept using them anyways, so I was just like, fuck it. I give up. I give up talking to you because you can't even simplify things for me. You're like speaking in fucking wingdings or some shit. Just talk to me like I'm a goddamn idiot for 2 seconds. Fucking simplify it down, please. Got my reading glasses on. I don't know why male VTubers are getting bullied right now, but good. All male VTubers are just racist and talk about how gay they are all the time. Male VTubers are cringe. I think almost all male VTubers are either thirst traps or make their avatar in the hopes that girls will simp. But if they showed their face, no girl would simp anymore. Oh god. But male VTubers aren't handsome, their avatars are. Brutal. That's just the EN side. They're all losers. Watching VTubers is already a treacherous area to get into, but watching male VTubers is disgusting, because all of them, I can't say that word, do is key smash and call themselves a bottom. That's the whole stream. Male VTubers love to have e-sex with their female viewers and then wonder why they can't hold an audience. Some male VTubers are upset about the wording of this. This doesn't apply to you, as if I would ever assume some of you talk to women. Don't worry, King. Oh, I feel like a lot of the guys who disagreed with me on my take could kind of relate to this tweet, as a lot of them make really lewd, suggestive posts. And yet they're still like, no, fuck you, you're wrong, you're fucking wrong. I'm just fucking fed up with people just essentially being fucking crazy. Yeah, I said it, bitch. Fuck you gonna do about it? You're acting fucking mental. Half of this shit would be cleared up in 2 seconds if people literally just talked. Then again, I literally just tried to talk things out like underneath my thread, and that lasted for like 2 days, getting nowhere. No like understanding of each other or like making a compromise, nothing. So maybe that actually wouldn't work out. It's hopeless. Twitter has got them by the balls. There is no escape. Oh, the horror. Anyways, back to the tweets. I get it, y'all are upset that you're lumped in with criticism aimed at bad male VTubers. Like, oh, not all of us are bad. I'm upset because I get graphic images in my DMs and people sexually harass me. And people genuinely take advantage of me. And this is a unifier for most women. Like, I completely get that because I've had that problem too, with both guys and girls. But again, that's not an excuse to like lump in a bunch of innocent people with people who are genuinely bad, because again, you are lumping them in with potentially people who have also hurt them. Which is, I think, again, why a lot of guys stood up and was like, hey, I have been like sexually harassed myself. Like, please don't compare me to that. Like, unless they do something horrible, then like, yeah, go ahead. Call them out. Why are we like putting everyone in the same fucking basket? It makes no sense. Okay, so if it's not all male VTubers who are predatory, which is the case, then what are male VTubers doing to hold each other accountable and protect vulnerable people in your spaces? Do you ever try to discourage that sort of behavior? Proper etiquette needs to be enforced. Yes, even the VTuber support group, the male VTuber support group that got like attacked for even existing, I talked to the guy and he said that they enforce those kinds of rules. Don't let the numbers get to your head, don't be a dick. Obviously, don't do anything bad to people because that sucks. It's messed up. So clearly there are guys who are holding each other accountable for their actions. Why do we always assume that if we don't automatically see something that it's just not happening? If you're a male VTuber, there's like a 99.9% chance you gotta be put down ASAP. Ooh. I'm not a VTuber veteran, but who the hell watches male YouTubers? Didn't even get that last part right. Here's a DM one male VTuber got of being told like they're trash and they should stop streaming because, you know, apparently all male VTubers e-fuck their viewers. Here's a screenshot of people assuming that a lot of male VTubers just fake being gay for some reason. Like, I do get that maybe some people are doing like the whole, oh look, I'm gay thing for clout, because let's be honest, there's a lot of fujoshis out there. But I'm also worried that people are just making assumptions about people's sexuality. Like, this is getting like near homophobic, and that's a little scary. Like, you might not feel that way, but some idiot is gonna see your tweet and think that way and decide, I'm gonna go harass somebody because I think that they're faking. I know this because I've seen that happen in mental health communities. Again, with my mental health community, let's go. Like, a group started at some point where they were trying to determine who's faking, to the point they'd sometimes just jump in and call someone out who just wasn't. Like, they had literally no proof of it. Some girl came in and said she had leukemia and that she just wanted to find friends, and somebody was like, but do you really? How much of an asshole do you have to really be? Wait, do you see what I mean? Because you start promoting this idea to strangers or even to friends, somebody might take it and just run with it, and use that idea in the worst of ways. Like actually going to somebody who is gay and saying that they're faking it for clout. Just keep those thoughts to yourself, dude. It's really not that hard. This isn't rocket science. We need to ban male VTubers. They be calling themselves pillow princesses and using AAVE in the most cringe ways when they could be fighting in wars. Oh god, we're like de-evolving. This is de-evolution, bro. In wars? What fucking era are we in? Now to the VTuber who responded to my tweet. He says, I understand that not everyone is aware of concepts like power relations, but when people are talking about toxicity/abuse among men, they're talking about broader systems in place that allow them to get away with it, which is both normalized and tacitly accepted by the majority? Bro is just reading minds today. How do you know that's what people mean? He then also added, literally every living cis male has to take accountability for being afforded a certain social latitude when it comes to not having to be as vigilant of predatory behaviors as much as other groups. If they are against this, then I would reckon they are part of the problem. I ended up responding with, I at least appreciate that you didn't come into this convo guns blazing, as anytime I see a larger VTuber respond to someone smaller, I'm like, time to get out the boxing gloves, because it usually goes from 0 to 100 real fast. So just thank you for not, like, I don't know, immediately murdering me. The thing is, I don't know how true this is about cis men not having to be as vigilant of predatory behavior. When I was trying to figure myself out, I said I was a male for some time online. I don't think I've ever been sexually harassed more than at that time. Women said some really borderline creepy stuff to me. I still have screenshots of that time because I feel like most people won't even believe me. Even at that time when I talked about it, I got the whole, but you're lucky, why wouldn't you be happy you're popular with the girls? Is your dick broken? Type of convo. I'm not disagreeing that statistics say more women than men get sexually assaulted, but I think it's important to consider that our society many times says men can't show emotion or should just suck it up and deal with it. It's very possible many sexual assaults against men go unreported because of this, and even if the statistics are 100% right, I think making men out to be villains just creates this divide between people and makes people scared of all men, or think all men are bad people when that's just the furthest thing from the truth. And then I quoted this other VTuber who also joined the conversation, said, as Jack of Hearts 012 said, we should punish bad people who do bad things instead of punishing everyone for something they can't help, like gender. People are right now saying male VTubers should just completely leave the community. It's just sad, man. Sorry for the book, bro. I literally just got Twitter blues so I can write more because I'm so bad at explaining things in just a few words. I swear I'll try to write less the next time. Anyways, he responds with, who exactly is being punished though? I have personally not seen anybody saying that all male VTubers should leave, and even if they did, that is obviously a hyperbolic statement because people at the end of the day have their own sense of agency. What does that even mean? So just because you haven't seen something personally, you think it doesn't exist. And then you go on to say that even if it does, that statement probably isn't meant literally. Like you're at this point just assuming what people mean by it. The thing is, it doesn't matter what people mean, it's how it comes off. When somebody says something that accidentally sounds really racist, the first thing people do is get really mad, right? So when somebody says something that sounds like a misandrous statement, of course, a lot of people are going to take offense to that. It's the same thing with maybe saying something that sounds misogynistic. Even if it's not meant that way, I notice that a lot of people still get really upset. So this just doesn't make any sense. He also virtue signals me by going, it is so strikingly disproportionate in terms of where you should be putting your focus on when people are talking about broader sex crimes as perpetuated by men, and there's a whole coterie of other men who for some reason feel bad about that as if they're implicated. Because yeah, a lot of people are implicating guys who have done nothing wrong. And if you've actually been through like a sex crime, like you've been assaulted, it really, really fucking sucks when somebody compares you to the person that hurt you. I was just very confused how he couldn't understand that. Just dictating what I should be focused on. Mind your own fucking business, dude. dude. Like, I'm sorry, just like reading back on this makes me a little bit pissed because it's like, who are you to tell me what to focus on? Like, this affects me just as much as it affects anybody else. Generalizations are bad. And I even tell him this later by saying that people have used generalizations against me. Like, they're just not good for anyone, dude. Also, looking back at the post that I was quote retweeting, there's a ton of women who are disagreeing with it. Like, dude, when even other women are saying that this take is shit, why are you defending it? Somebody later comes in to be like, well, are you a girl who has, you know, experienced this kind of thing? He's like, no, but what does that have to do with anything? It's to say, like, you clearly don't know what you're even talking about. You haven't been through this, and you're kind of talking over certain victims just by agreeing with some who think that this is okay. Like, okay, it's great that some people think that this is fine and dandy, but not everyone does. Some people who have been victims of sex crimes are thinking this is completely bonkers. So why are you agreeing with one side more than the other if you care about women who have been sexually assaulted so goddamn much? There's so much more that he says, which I honestly don't even want to read because it just gets super heated and some other people jump in and it just gets messy. And honestly, this video is long enough. Point is, half of the time, I don't think he really made sense because I wanted to understand where he was coming from and I wanted to maybe even agree with his take, but the more he spoke, the more I was just like, I don't know what the hell you're saying, dude. Like, are you even speaking English to me anymore? Am I just going insane? Like, I can't understand what you're trying to tell me. Point is, a lot of male VTubers are getting attacked, harassed, told to just leave the community. And like I said, one guy who made the male VTuber support group, a lot of people took that as kind of like retaliation towards women who were standing up for themselves, when that wasn't it at all. It was made specifically for Men's Mental Health Month. They also had a support group for women as well, so it's not like they were being discriminatory. They let people of all genders join as well. Whether you're trans or non-binary or gender fluid, doesn't really matter. You can join both groups if you want to. Women can also join the male group if they want to give their support there. Like, I don't see anything wrong with this group, and yet they still had to make this post being like, please stop sending hate over this. I don't know what else to say besides I can't understand how anyone can defend this sort of thing, because it genuinely is awful. I don't think that men should feel unwelcomed in this community. Like, it's a community for everyone, regardless of your sexuality, your gender, your race, age. I mean, I've seen people like in their 40s start VTubing, and you know what? That's great. I just want this community to be like a little bit more accepting, as well as more understanding and empathetic. Like, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed within the VTuber community, but I do think that it mostly stems from Twitter, and most of the time whenever I see really bad drama or really bad takes, it usually comes from Twitter. If you say anything reasonable, people just go nuts. So but yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, wait, I have one more thing to tell you guys, completely unrelated, but it's very important and it will help me a lot. So I haven't been able to get any sort of payout from YouTube for at least like 2 or 3 months now. The first time I got my payout is when I finally like monetized this channel properly, you know, set everything up on Google AdSense and whatnot, and everything that's been held on this account from like monetizing my old videos and stuff, that went to my bank account after a while. But now, even though I've made like a decent amount, like at least for like a Polish person in like super chats, I haven't received any of that for some reason. And so even though I really wanted to go to Kick and, you know, boycott Twitch for now because Twitch is being stanky, I actually think I have to go back to Twitch because, you know, I need to make money. My living situation is a little bit complicated, and because I would be making more doing VTubing than at a job here, that's why I'm trying to do this like full time, you feel me? The work and effort I put into my last job did not pay as much as Twitch did when I first started doing streams on Twitch. But if I'm not getting anything from YouTube right now and I literally have no income, and of course my Kick account is not affiliated affiliated yet, I'm gonna go back to Twitch. However, if you're watching this and you want to help me to reach affiliate, I need to have 75 followers on Kick. So please, if you could go to my Kick and maybe give me a follow. This is my Kick. This is my Kick right here. Link will also be down below in the description. Until then, I'm going to be on Twitch. And to start off streaming on Twitch again, I'm actually going to be doing a 24-hour-long live stream. It might even be longer. I really don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to be playing Resident Evil Biohazard all the way through because people keep pestering me to finally fucking play it all the way through. I don't know how long the stream is going to last, but I'm not allowed to stop stream until I finish the game, so if you want to come support me on that, then here's my Twitch. I'll also put up like a punishment wheel or something for people to punish me with, so you can make my life absolutely miserable if you want to. Yeah, I hope to see you guys around. Mwah. Love you all. Charles, say goodbye. What are you doing? Say something, little buddy.
The pain, it never ends. Death is coming for us all.
Mwah.